Hello and welcome. It looks like we're live, and I am Tanya. This is Comeback Yoga, and we are going to be starting a yoga class here in just under 5 minutes. So, if you are just tuning in and would like to grab yourself an exercise mat, maybe a yoga block, and something like a blanket or a pillow, a cushion to sit on, then go ahead and grab that. And we'll get started here in just under 5 minutes. In the meantime, I'll just share some inspirational readings with you today and from a book called The Meditations from the Mat by Rolf Gates and Katrina Kennison. To understand yoga at work on our bodies, we must first arrive at an understanding of our physicality. Despite the fact that most of us have not taken formal anatomy or physiology courses, we are still inheritors of Western medicine's understanding of the human body. Like all institutions, Western medicine reflects the political and economic systems within which it has existed. The emphasis has been placed on things being separate. This is mine, that is yours. This muscle begins here and ends there. This bone begins here and ends there. This organ performs this discrete function with this discrete result. And if there's a problem with the attainment of the result, we fix this organ. Nautilus weight training equipment is a product of this kind of thinking. As these machines showed up in health clubs and gyms across the country, much was made up of the fact that this equipment could isolate a specific muscle group and exercise it throughout its range of motion. No thought was given to the fact that training like this would, over time, develop some muscles and not others, leading to unnatural imbalance and injury. Western medicine is based on the assumption that the body is made up of separate parts, like a machine. But we can begin to understand the power of yoga postures only when we come to see our body as an integrated, balance seeking whole. Our practice is an in depth exploration into the reality of this conception of the body. Notice the moments in your practice when you experience yourself as an integrated whole. Notice the moments when your tendency is otherwise. Note when one side of the body overpowers the other, when you do violence to one aspect of your body as an attempt to open or lengthen another. Begin to see your practice as a search for balance and that integrated effort. Yeah, so yoga really is about finding that balance, that balanced effort. And we will kind of bring attention to that today in our class. So I'm just about to get started here now. So welcome, welcome, welcome. We are at the top of the hour, at least according to my clock. And I am Tanya. This is a comeback yoga class. This is an all levels class. And just a little bit about comeback yoga is that we are a nonprofit organization and we are serving veterans, active duty military, uh, retired military, anyone that's been in the military for a day, a year, or their entire lifetime. We support you as well as your uh, support team. So, welcome, welcome, welcome. This all levels class is about 45 minutes long, and we'll be doing some basic yoga postures today with a little bit of challenge thrown in here and there. With that being said, if you find that something's too easy for you or not hard enough, not difficult enough, then go ahead and give yourself permission to adapt the postures to your liking. So, without further ado, if you do have an exercise mat, maybe a yoga block, something to sit on, and some water nearby so that when you get thirsty, you stay hydrated. All right, so let's go ahead and we're going to come down onto our back for starters. So maybe have something under your head, feeling your spine decompress. If you like to have your legs straight, you may, maybe they're bent. And just having your hands resting on your body. Let's take a few more moments to just breathe. Noticing that breath coming in through your nose, out through your nose. And then extending your arms out to the sides. Go ahead and bend your knees, bringing your feet about mat width, and rock your legs side to side. You can turn your head in the opposite direction of your legs just for a little kind of waking up the opposite sides of the body. It does do a little bit to kind of create some brain activity just by alternating the movements, and these bilateral movements in the body help to kind of retrain the brain, create some new neural connections. All right. And then coming back to center, hug one knee into your chest. The other foot can stay on the floor, or you can straighten that leg. Just whatever you like. Just hugging that knee in. Maybe a little bit of movement in your ankle joint. And let's switch sides. Other knee coming to chest. All right. And both knees coming to chest. And then circling your legs side to side, run around. Other direction. You might feel that this kind of massages your back a little bit. Also, you're kind of waking up your arms simultaneously. So, kind of being efficient with our movements here. And then straighten both legs up to the ceiling. Holding on to the back of your legs, bend and straighten. All right. And then planting your feet down to the ground. If you have a big pillow or something under your head, you want to reduce it in size, just maybe about to an inch or so, or nothing at all. And then those feet are now about hip distance apart. Maybe you can touch them with your fingers, maybe not. Depends on how long your arms are versus how long your torso is. So don't strain to get to those feet. It's just a general idea. All right, let's lift those hips up, and the arms are going to follow. And then lower your hips and lower your arms. And let's keep going. Those hips lifting, the arms lifting, and lower down. going. Noticing your breath, and if there is a point in the movement that is painful or uncomfortable, maybe allowing your breath to kind of massage that area, maybe slowing your movements down a little bit. Just another moment or two here. All right. Let's bring those knees back into the chest. You can either hold on to the back of your legs or the fronts of your legs. All right. And then come on to one side. Maybe you're facing the screen. And if you had something under your head and want to elevate a little bit higher, take some of that pressure off of your shoulder, do so. We're going to keep those knees about right out in front of us. Got to keep your feet together and lifting that top knee towards the ceiling. Let's do about 5 more of these. All right, now you're going to straighten your bottom leg. Your top leg is coming into like a tree pose, sending that top arm alongside of your head, pressing down through that bottom foot, top knee moving up towards the ceiling. Notice a little imbalance here. All right, and then straighten out both legs and come onto your stomach, coming into a sphinx pose. So parallel the forearms, stretch out through the legs, and lift your chest. You can even kind of inch your way longer. All right. And then press up to a tabletop. And then we'll drop those hips back and come into a tight little ball here. Maybe your knees are under your body for support, or you take your knees out wider and let your body come towards the floor. Let's take 2 or 3 breaths here. All right, and then coming up, let's make our way onto our other side, bringing those knees out in front, feet together, lift the top knee and lower. 5 more. All right, and then straightening out your legs, almost as if you could line up to the back edge of your mat, and then bring that top foot into that upper leg and your arm alongside of your ear, if that feels okay. Energize your legs by pressing your legs against your bottom leg up against your top foot. All right. And then coming back onto your stomach here into that sphinx pose. Parallel the forearms, lift your chest. You can see why it's called the sphinx pose. You think about the ancient Egyptian sphinx statues that we see, right? All right. And then press up and come to a tabletop position. And we're going to take one arm underneath and drop the hips back towards the heel. Let your head come down maybe onto your hand or the mat. Stretching that arm underneath, palm facing up or down, whatever. You can try it both ways. See how that feels. All right. And then coming back up to tabletop, taking your other arm under.
Taking several breaths here to feel that stretch across the shoulder, maybe the upper back. Feeling it also in the hips and the knees, ankles. Sometimes we have to move through a little discomfort to grow, right? But if it's absolutely intolerable, then change your position. Otherwise, focus on your breathing, which will help dissipate.
All right. And then let's come on up to tabletop, rounding your back, lift up and back, downward facing dog. Letting your head go, looking at your toes or your knees. Your feet can be as wide as the mat. Push your hands down, stretch the arms. And then walk your hands back towards your feet, coming into a standing forward fold. And then bending the knees, will roll on up, reaching those arms up to the ceiling. Palms coming together and hands in front of the heart. All right, great. Stepping your legs out wide. Open up your arms, bring them up overhead, a big stretch up, and then exhale, lower your arms down, clasping your hands maybe behind you, having your hands either onto your back or behind, maybe clasp, bend your knees and fold over your legs, stretching out those legs, bringing those arms up towards the ceiling slightly. All right, releasing your hands down to the mat and then bend your knees. We'll come all the way up. All right, turn one leg out, facing the short edge of your mat, opening up the arms, warrior two, bending your front leg. And maybe going a little longer, want to challenge yourself here today. And then bring your back arm around. We're going to turn towards the short edge of the mat, lifting your back heel. Crescent lunge. All right, and then let's come back into that warrior two. All right, and then straighten out, turning your other leg out, opening up those arms, bending that front knee, working to straighten out the leg, back leg. And then bring your back arm around, pivot, lifting your back heel. So you're on your toe mounds on that back foot and stretching both arms up. All right. And then come back to your warrior two, turning your back foot towards the short, long edge of your mat, and then straighten. Turning both feet parallel, bring those arms behind, clasp and fold over your legs. All right. And then bending your knees, come all the way up and bringing those feet in and standing into a mountain pose. Standing up tall. Inhale, stretching your arms up overhead. Coming into chair, exhaling, dropping the hips down, reaching those arms up. And straighten up, reaching up and folding over your legs, hands down to the ground or to your legs or to your block. And we'll come all the way back up, reaching your arms up and hands coming to the heart. Stepping out wide again, we're going to repeat our standing sequence, turning your leg out, opening the arms, bending that front knee. Back arm comes around, lift your back heel, crescent lunge. Maybe you go a little bit lower, maybe you stay high. Pivot back again on the foot, opening up the arms, warrior two. Straighten, and doing the other side, turning your legs out, your front leg out, other leg out, bending your knee, warrior two. Lift your back heel, crescent lunge. Warrior two, opening out. And straighten, turning those feet parallel, folding over your legs. Coming upright, bringing your feet together. Inhale, mountain pose. Palms together, bending the knees, chair pose. Let's rise back up all the way up to standing and lowering your arms down to your sides. All right, let's do one more round and then balancing. Open out the arms, turn your leg out. We'll go a little bit faster here, just a little bit. So, one breath, one movement, bending the knee. Crescent lunge, lifting your back heel, one or both arms up. You can use your hands on your thigh too for support. And you can keep the hands onto the thigh for support to turn, opening out the arms, straightening up. Other leg turns out, opening the arms again. You can use your hand on your leg for that turn, for that crescent lunge, one or both arms coming up. Come back into your warrior two, opening the arms. And then straighten out. Maybe your hands clasp behind you. Maybe you just put your hands on your back and fold over your legs. And hands coming to the ground. Step your feet in. Come all the way up to mountain. And hands to the heart. Dropping those hips back into chair. And then standing. All right, we're going to move into tree pose just like we did on our side. So what I'd like to invite you to do is to get maybe near a wall or a sturdy piece of furniture. And I'm going to lift one heel up, turn that knee out. Now you can have your heel against your ankle as a little kickstand. You can bring your foot up to your calf, or you can bring your foot above your knee. Your arms can be, again, holding a wall, holding the doorway, onto a piece of furniture, whatever. Or you can challenge yourself and do hands-free. And if you've never done this before, maybe you just take it little bit by little bit, right? Keeping one hand on the prop, the wall, whatever is sturdy, and then touching down. So if we don't keep practicing this, we'll lose it. But we're not used to being standing on one leg, right? That's just not natural for us. We have two legs. Most of us, not all of us, right? And so it's really not easy. So that's important to remember is that it's not easy to stand on one leg. So let's go ahead and do the other side. And what this does is it's helping to activate some core muscles, which are important for everyday life. So getting up and down a chair, getting up and down stairs, those kinds of things. So choosing, you might find that one side's easier than the other. That is generally always the case. All right. And then touch down. All right. Excuse me. Okay. So coming to the face, the shortage of the mat. Let's come on down for some stretching. Inhaling, stretching your arms up overhead, folding over your legs, touching to the ground. Step or hop back to a plank position. You can have your hands on the ground. You could come to your forearms. You could also bring your knees down to the ground. That's totally an option. Okay, now let's do some upper body work here. So you're going to take a little bend in the elbows, just a little bit, and then press up. And then press towards the heels. If you're doing a down, you could do a downward dog and do that same thing. Maybe to a plank, knees, a little elbow bend, press up, and either to child's pose or to a downward dog. Knees again or not. Let's bend the elbows. Let's just do one more. Your option is to the heels or downward dog. And then coming forward, and let's come all the way down to our stomach this time. Those hands behind the shoulders, lifting your chest up, elbows tuck in towards your waist. And then come on down. Rest your head now on the back of your hands for a pose called crocodile. Gonna breathe here, just letting go. All right, now turn your head to one side. That hand is going to be on top. Let's lift that elbow with the head and the opposite leg. So you're going to push down into the bottom hand and then lower their elbow and your leg down. Two more like that. Lifting your head with your hand, push down on the bottom hand, lower down. One more time. Lift up and down. All right. Turning your head to the other side. Lift your head, arm, leg, and down. Two more. Lift up and down. One more. And down. Good. Forehead down. Bring those arms back behind, elbows towards the waist. Lift your legs. Your chin slightly tucked. And then lower back down, bringing your hands under your head. Two more. Inhale, lift up, legs lift, elbows tuck into your sides. Exhale and lower down. Last one. Bring it in and down. Wonderful. All right. You're just going to roll onto one side here. You can either use your arm for a little pillow, or you can use that if you had a cushion. Bring that under. All right. So let's take our top leg. You're going to grab your ankle or your foot and bring your leg back like so. So it lines up. Well, it may not line up with your hip, but you don't want the knee up high. You want to keep that knee kind of in line with the hip, like this direction, not up here like that. All right. But to increase the sensation, if you're up for it, then there's a slight pressing of the hips forward, of engagement of the backside, and then rolling that top shoulder back so you get a stretch in your shoulder as well as in the front of your leg, the top of your leg, and the front of your hip. All right, good. Let's extend that leg out in front, holding onto your ankle, foot, or calf with that same arm. All right. And then coming up right, let's come on over to the other side. Top leg coming back for that stretch. And bringing your leg out in front. All right. Coming onto your back. Extend one leg straight up into the air. And the other leg goes down to the floor. So if you find that your knee is bent, then you want to maybe take your leg out further away from your body and hold on to the back of your leg with your arms straight. This will increase the sensation if you press out through the heels be safer for the hamstrings and will actually help to lengthen the hamstrings rather than shorten them if your leg is in tight here. So it's those short hamstrings we really want to extend, long, hydrate. And let's take maybe 3 more breaths here. And then bringing your leg across. Right, taking your leg now out away from your hip, but bend now your bottom leg. You're going to take your leg out. This is going to be a better stretch. And hold on to the outside of your leg. You could have a towel wrapped around your foot, t-shirt, sweatshirt. All right, coming back up. And let's change out our legs. Other leg going up into the air. Again, same thing here. You want to have your leg straight in order to get that stretch, the safe stretch in the back of your leg. And then taking your leg across, arm going out. And just breathing into the stretch. And then taking it across, out. A few more breaths here, bending that bottom leg like we did on the other side. Okay. Hug both knees into your chest, lifting your head and shoulders up. And then lowering your legs down. Let's take the knees over to one side, both of them. Bring them up closer to your chest and then drop them down. So maybe you have your bottom hand on that top knee. That's how close your knees should be up towards your chest so that you can grab that top leg. And let's take it over, other side. All right. And then coming back to center, holding on to your knees and circle your knees around. And go in the other direction. All right. Bring yourself upright. And if you have a cushion or a blanket, go ahead and have a seat on it. Gonna have both legs bent just a little bit, not a big bend, but a little bend. And flexing the feet towards the toes, reach both arms up overhead. Exhale, reach over your legs, grabbing your toes, pull your toes back, and lift your chest. So, this is going to help make your spine get long. And then you can straighten out your legs a little or a lot and keep this traction going in your back. Your legs don't have to go straight, focusing the sensation on that length of the hamstrings here. All right. And then coming on upright and bring the soles of your feet together for cobbler pose. Those knees out wide can stay upright. You can even bring your hands behind you for that upright position. Otherwise, if it feels okay, just start to come forward and low. And just continue to monitor your breath. All right, come on up. Bringing your legs together. One leg goes straight, the other knee comes right on top, dropping your knee down. Now, if it's available, you can tuck your other leg under and stack your knees like so. And hinge forward, standing long, getting into those hips here. Just again, monitoring breath, seeing how it feels. If you want to increase the intensity, go for it, but monitor your pain level, monitor the sensation level. About 3 more breaths here. All right. And then coming up, changing the cross of your legs. So that other leg goes on the bottom. If you're tucking under, finding that upright position, that might be enough. But again, we're just going to kind of monitor it. And that maybe little by little, you start to come forward, that it's just monitoring what's going on in our bodies so that we're not causing any issues to the tissues. Just noticing what's happening. It's just a little by little stretch for about a minute. deeper breath in, drawing that breath down into the sensation. Breathing up and out. If you need to release it out through the mouth, do so. In and down, and up and out. One more deep breath. All right. Straightening out your legs, just a little bit of movement, pedaling the feet, pick up the ankles and the knees. And then just kind of taking one foot and just kind of massaging the toes of the top of the foot, making sure to get the space between your toes, squeezing each toe, getting the bottom of your foot, top of your ankle. And we'll switch sides. Making sure again to get every toe, every foot part of your foot here. Massaging the ankle. All right, folks, let's go ahead now and get set up for our relaxation. You could be sitting or you could be laying on your back. You could even be standing if you like or sitting in a chair. I'm going to sit as I guide you through the practice. We'll be here for about 5 minutes. So you want to get yourself as comfortable as possible. And that might mean that you add a layer of clothing. You maybe add a blanket to keep yourself comfortably warm. Sometimes people like to cover their eyes, but if that doesn't feel safe for you, then just keep your eyes open and just notice your surroundings. And we'll all notice our surroundings right now. So just noticing maybe the sounds in the room, noticing our maybe there's an appliance that we can hear, maybe the computer we can hear. Calling your attention to the different parts. Noticing any smells or tastes. And then noticing the surface beneath you. Noticing the support underneath. Notice the firmness. Notice the texture. Notice the temperature. And now notice your breathing. So let's call attention to the breath for about 5 slow, deep breaths here. So with your facial muscles soft, with your jaw separated, with your roof of the mouth being lifted and your mouth spacious, take in a breath here. Feeling that breath coming in and down, and then exhaling breath up and out. And breathing in and down, feeling the width of your body, the depth, and breathing up and out. Breathing in and down and up and out. And two more rounds at your own pace. And now begin to wake up to the sounds of the room again, beginning to move your body, wiggling your fingers, your toes, just the parts of you that maybe need a little attention, even circling your wrist, even turning your head left and right, right and left. And when you're ready now, start to rise up to sitting if you have been laying down. And if you're ready to, maybe you'd like to stay longer. So, on behalf of Comeback Yoga, I would like to thank you all for being here, for your time, for your generous time, and for your presence. So, thank you, thank you, thank you. If you have not, if you're new to Comeback Yoga, please check us out. You can follow the link below to find out more about our organization. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to find out more about you, and we'd love for you to share this practice. So thanks again. Until I see you next time, take good care of yourself.